DorkLair.
Welcome to another DorkLair action figure review. Today, I'm going back and taking a look at the Mythic Legions Purrrplor from the Wasteland wave. This was one of two Masters of the Universe tribute figures in that wave. This is the Panthor tribute, kind of like the previous cat tribute, which was Kauros, the Battle Cat tribute. The other one in this wave was the Trapjaw tribute, which was named Krona. So here we have our Purple Panther Cat Man Purrrplor. So Purrrplor also has an alternate head sculpt so that you can turn him into an orc, which is actually my preferred look for this particular figure, just because I've been wanting more orcs. And they can be hard to come by. But yeah, so pretty great looking figure. The colors are awesome. Definitely a callback. My good friend Larry, who's a much bigger Masters of the Universe fan than I am, pointed out not only does it have the sort of classic, like the vintage colors between the greens and the purple, obviously, but it also has the 2000X colors in the accessories and sort of in the minor detailing here with this bronze coloring going on. Apparently the weapons that came with the 2000X that I guess they attached to the saddle or whatever on that Panthor were of this same color. So callbacks both to the vintage and the 2000X going on in this release. Awesome figure. I mean, it's just look at this thing. I mean, it's got a tail. If you've seen any of their cat figures, like if you've seen Kauros, if you've seen my review for Kauros, a lot of similarities. Definitely some differences in the armor pieces and some of the parts, but for the most part, very, very similar type of figure going on here. So let's get into this review. Real quick, look at the box, your standard Mythic Legions packaging. Over here you have a little bio, Purrrplor on the side there. Just to note, it does have 3 R's. Typical back, they all have the same sort of like insert card there. And then you can see here, he is from the Legion of Arethyr. Getting a look at the paint, the sculpt, the details on this guy, and you can see there's a transition. So the top from the head into parts of the over piece that goes over his shoulders here to create the panther look. You can see it kind of transitions and does a good job of being able to make it look like a panther head guy is also sharing the same body as any of the humans, barbarians, orcs, and whatnot that does not have hair. So that's pretty cool that they have that piece. I think that same piece comes with their like Minotaur figures as well. So you can kind of see the back of that. Looks really cool from behind there. Does limit the articulation a little bit, but not too much because the head's only on a ball joint anyways. There's not a ton of motion in there to begin with. You can see there's like a nice shine or sheen, I guess, to like the armor pieces. Everything except for the loincloth there has that kind of like shiny metallic kind of thing going on there. And then like the flesh is purple, but it's also got a wash with a darker sort of a black going on to bring out sort of like the sculpt work of the musculature, and the same thing up in the fur. You can see that there's a little bit of a black wash going on there. I really like that the nose is shiny, kind of makes it more lifelike, more cat-like, a little more alive, and then you have those green eyes. You can see the tail there, and the tail just sort of pegs in, so I can ease that out of there. I know that some people have had issues where that peg has broken because it's a pretty tight fit in there, but you have the tail there. Some bronze accents here on the shoulder piece, and then some bronze accents throughout the armor bits. And then you can see the look of the greaves there. These are all very much orc pieces. So when you take off take off the head, and then you take this whole piece off, and those will peg into the shoulders as well. I'm not going to do that now just for the sake of time, but you can put the orc head on there, and then you can kind of see how he looks. So pretty awesome. I'm really happy to have another orc, just a different color. I think some people are kind of like, oh, I don't know, purple orc, but I think it looks incredible. It's a really sweet looking orc, if you ask me. And purple is a great color. I think this is a really good look for the orc. It gives it that dark magic kind of thing going on there. So really cool. I love all of the sculpt paint details. on this figure. Okay, next up, I'm going to compare him to a few other figures, and starting off with his counterpart here, the Kauros figure. There he is next to him. And then here he is next to another orc. So we have the Fury orc right here. And then bringing in a couple other lines. Here he is next to a Marvel Legends Iron Man. And then here he is next to a Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, just one more figure that kind of matches the theme here. This is the Skeletor from Super 7 from the Masters of the Universe movie. And quickly running through the accessories. So he comes with two of these pauldrons over here. I love the look of these. Every like sort of bit and piece on this figure, especially on all the different orcs that they make, have all these like chips and weathering and so on. So they all look really kind of like hyper realistic in that way. Again, he comes with that cat head, he comes with the tail, and he comes with the cat piece. So sort of these three pieces to turn him into the cat. And then he comes with the typical shoulder strap, and it's got a little place where you can store a weapon. This is handy for when you want to make it look like the pauldron is sort of on there. So you can kind of like have it look like it's strapped on his shoulder. And then for weapons, he comes with this sort of elf style shield, or maybe sort of vampire styled shield over here. He comes with the big sort of cleaver type sword right here. And then he comes with this little bone saw looking like antler bone handle type blade right here. So pretty cool looking knife. I like to put them in with like the reverse grip with this thing on there. So I like that piece. It's pretty neat. And I don't think this comes with a lot. I know it's on the Fury orc I showed earlier, but then I think it's only on one other figure and Purrplor. All right, finally for the articulation, I'm going to start with one thing because there is one flaw that I have on my figure. If you take a look at his leg there, there's like a piece that's all chewed up right here. Now, I don't know if there was like a little extra skin there, like a little extra flap that got chewed up, but the more I articulate it, the more it kind of like chews into it. So I left it like that for the review just so you can kind of see what's going on there. But I'm going to take some snips and I'm going to trim that down. It's going to be a little bit of a white piece, I think, after I trim it, but whatever. It's behind the knee, so I don't even care. But just so you're aware that there is a little bit of a flaw on my particular figure. Not a big deal to me, though. Okay. All right, so for the rest of the articulation, so the head is on a ball joint, kind of swivels all around, kind of cocks and knocks up and down, side to side a little bit there. The arms can hinge up about this high and then back down, and they can swing all the way around. The elbow is single jointed, so not a ton of movement there, not a ton of range, I should say, there. But then it also does have, you can twist the elbow as well, and then you can twist the gauntlet, you can twist the wrist. The wrist will spin around, and it'll also hinge too. In the waist, it's on a big ball joint, so he can crunch forward this far, crunch back that far. All pretty standard 1.0 Mythic Legions articulation. Mine does feel a little loose. It's especially loose like in this hip, which is very common for this body type. But he'll hold his poses pretty well. He can go out into the splits quite a bit. He can kick forward about that far, and he can kick back. You can twist him at the top of the thigh. You can see the cut right there. And then his knee will bend up this far. And again, I have that one knee that gets a little stuck on that piece there. It will also twist at the knee. And then you can point his feet up and down. And then they'll pivot side to side. And they'll spin all the way around. So standard Mythic Legions 1.0 articulation does not have upper torso articulation like the 2.0 figures. But yeah, so overall, this is an awesome figure. Highly recommend it. If you're just looking for an orc, if you're into Masters of the Universe, if you just like Mythic Legions and fantasy figures, any of the above, I highly recommend it. This figure is still out there for that sort of like extra retail $50 price point. I mean, you're not going to find it for the $35 pre-order price, but a lot of orcs sell out and they end up being like $100. So if you want this figure, it's still on sites like Big Bad Toy Store. You could probably find it on like Empire, things like that. Still readily available. Get your hands on this figure before the supply dries up. And yeah, thanks for watching my video. Until next time, may the force be with you.
Follow me.